Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Search Called Life. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about a few things which I found very interesting. And coincidentally, today is also birthday of the great master Osho. And why I say the great master, because he is, and many people who have read Osho, I'm sure they may not agree, but they could not disagree either with his thoughts, with his clarity, with his vision that he had. So, in if I talk about myself, I came across Osho's thoughts, Osho's philosophy a long time ago, but that time I didn't know because I was also blinded by the the general perception that many people had, and the similar. I mean, they were somehow transferring the same sort of thought, and and so I also thought in the same way, but I when I read a book called Jeevan Kya Hai, you know, I could not disagree with even a single word that he has mentioned. I mean, he never wrote a book. Obviously, it was a discourse. It was a collection of discourses that he had given. So, but whatever he had said in that, that had kind of made it very clear that how uh, how clear he was in his thoughts, in his philosophy, and how right he was. So, and I also in that book itself, if you ever get to read this, he talked about how you can focus, how you can. We just gave an example that how you can try to meditate. And in my life, I never had meditated before that, and I just followed like what he said for a moment, and that was like the first spark. So it's like and that's the main thing. Somebody who shows you the path, that can be that nobody else can be bigger than that person. So because we all are kind of traveling in a dark tunnel, and somebody who shows the light, you know that is the person. And of course, in our culture, in our country, which is our great country, that is India, that is Bharat, there are so many ways. That's why we follow Sanatan, and they rightly say, it is not a religion, it is a way of life, because it gives you so many options. You may not agree with one philosophy, one thought process, but you are free to go with other, and if it doesn't work for you, you can change it. You can choose anything, whatever you want. You can experiment, you can do whatever, but you know it will show you the path. It will give you the direction, that which direction to go. So that is the greatness of Sanatan. That is the greatness of this country that we are born in, and we are so lucky. So apart from that, so as I was telling that, although there was a few things that later on, that I similarly, as I said, you are free. So I'm also free. I'm not bounded by any thought process. Even like Osho said, do not believe in him. Do not. He said he never agreed with the tradition of believing or having a faith or belief. So even he said clearly, and this is the best thing that I liked about him, that he said, do not even believe me. Just experiment with yourself. And this is what I did, and then this is what I, in my thought process, in my journey of life, to this, where I've spent like 39 years. So in this journey, I've also now, I mean, I've never been like this. In fact, I was a zero. I mean, I was completely ignorant from this life. In fact, I used to live in a dream world for a long time of my life. I was a dreamer, I was a daydreamer. I was far, far, far away from the reality. And this is the reason why, I mean, Right now I'm trying to get into the reality, but the reality that the world shows, the reality that that the society tells us is real, is again, I found that that is not the real world. The reality is something that you have to explore yourself. This is this society, these norms, the tradition, this is also ignorance. So you have to find your own path. And I believe, and I believe in this so strongly, 100%, that everybody has their own way, their own path that they can follow. They don't have to trust, they don't have to believe in somebody, they don't have to believe in me, they don't have to believe in the scriptures, they don't have to believe in what the society tells, the family tradition says. And be on the way of life and explore your own path. And so that is what, this clarity, this kind of confidence, Osho gives to his to his followers. You cannot even say followers, you to the one he just spread the light, he just spread the light of his knowledge, his wisdom. And it depends on people to people that how they perceive it, and they are free, and that is the greatest thing one can tell. And I completely agree, because when I sit to meditate, I mean, when I try to meditate, I mean, obviously it is not a thing to try, but you at this current point of time, if you ask me that which what I follow, which religion, which whatever, but I'm not, I mean, I will just say Sanatan, because that gives me the freedom to choose my path. And I'm exploring my ways, my path. And I'm not bounded by anything, anybody, any thought, any process. So that is the greatest thing. And so thank you so much for giving this clarity, this vision, that this wisdom that you spread, Osho. And Osho was not just a person. I'm sure that he's somewhere in the universe, and is still you know uh, illuminating through his light to many, many, many people in this world. So apart from this, yes, so that is definitely, this was on my mind to talk about today. And apart from this, I also want to talk about one very important aspect of life that I had heard, yesterday, which was that in our Sanatan, uh, obviously, when we talk about that, we live, we die, we take rebirth, and then we die again, all this cycle of life. So what is beyond? So in there's a term called moksha. Moksha is like when somebody is free from this cycle of life and birth, I mean, birth and death, death and birth. So what is beyond that? And there was one thing I heard yesterday, that many people just talk about moksha. What is beyond moksha? So, and scientifically talking, this was I heard in a podcast, which I really like, because we have always known that is life. I mean, it is not what all the scientists believe and everything, but what is life? Life has, in this podcast, one scientist tried to explain that the life has begun from this universe, because every life, whichever life it is, humans, uh, animals, worms, whatever, all those. So every life has begun from a life. So there was a life. It is the similar, the funny question that they ask, "Pehle murgi hua ya anda?" So I mean, there was a life, and life brought another life, and so on. And we had been evaluating, we had been evolving, rather. We had been evolving over the years. So, I mean, so life began with life, and so on. The cycle goes on, and we keep evolving over the time, and we are currently evolving. We are evolving right now. I mean, so we are on the path of this evolvement, okay? And we began from the universe, and then after one attains moksha through his consciousness, through by being aware, by following all these paths, whichever path they want to follow. They're free to explore life, and then they attain moksha because they get rid of this cycle of life and death. And after that basically they become part of the universe. They become stars, they become galaxies, they become the big planets. And now you might be wondering that it's so many people then, once, like everybody or many people who are going beyond moksha, and how many? So obviously there's a in in Hinduism, in our Sanatan, there's a concept of where Lord Vishnu is lying and he's just breathing, and in his every breath, from his each pore, there's a universe that is beginning, that is taking birth, and many universes are dying. So in the universe, it's in this big universe we are, where there are so many stars, so many galaxies, Milky Ways, in this Earth. So there are so millions of such universes. So it is way beyond, then that is what you become. And that is the journey of life. So in this journey, so what is the importance of this knowledge? Well, I'll talk about this later on. For today, that's all. Thank you so much.